Randy Orton is planning a return to the WWE. The company's creative team are currently putting together a number of pitches, and one of them does include a pretty strong and very exciting idea of a reunion with a former student of his, Cody Rhodes. Note that I say reunion, not necessarily tag team, but not necessarily a feud either. Welcome everyone, my name's Tom Colohue, it's all the way down there if you'd like to check that out, and I'm going to be talking about Randy Orton today. I previously put up a video on this in February, detailing Randy Orton's return schedule, and that around Summerslam time is when we were looking most likely for him to be cleared and return to action. Now I can confirm at this point in time Randy Orton is not yet cleared or has returned to action, but the WWE are now at a level of confidence that they are putting together creative ideas. This is quite similar to the situation with Bray Wyatt, where they are trying to put together a creative idea that works for everyone and will get him back in the ring. Now, Randy Orton has not been seen for quite a long time, but when he did leave, he was working alongside Matt Riddle as RKBro. They were essentially put out of action by Roman Reigns, the Usos, and the Bloodline. And we have seen plenty of Bloodline since, but very little Randy Orton. And in fact, very little Matt Riddle. The current situation with Matt Riddle is a tag team, at least briefly, with Drew McIntyre, as they essentially try to fill time by having Matt Riddle work against Gunther. Drew McIntyre is going to be working against Gunther soon, and Matt Riddle will be essentially written out of that storyline moderately quickly. Matt Riddle is only there to fill time and to make sure that Drew McIntyre and Gunther stay as far apart as possible, because that story will last several matches. For Randy Orton, Matt Riddle is a major part of his impending future. There is a lot of creative nuance, as it were, in the storyline that was RKBro, and the idea of a tag team that would eventually, as we all know, have Randy Orton turn on Matt Riddle is something that is quite entertaining and would guarantee a push for Matt Riddle going forwards. The WWE do see Matt Riddle and Randy Orton teaming up again, and this is a large part of what the pitch starts out as. Randy Orton returning at some point after SummerSlam and working firstly as a manager, quote unquote, but long term once again as a tag team partner with Matt Riddle on the face side. This essentially protects Randy Orton, so that if he's not 100% okay, he doesn't have to do the vast majority of the heavy lifting. Matt Riddle can get beaten up, Randy Orton can be tagged in and hit a few RKOs. Should be fairly simple, wouldn't really be that much of an issue. This would of course put Randy Orton on the Raw side, where he could work as a face with a number of people, such as for example Gunther, though I don't think they'd be willing to risk that one immediately given what's just happened to Randy Orton. They'd like to basically protect him and be a bit more gentle, so Baron Corbin is the most likely potential opponent. There is talk, speaking of Baron Corbin, of Randy Orton spending at least a little time in NXT. Bron Breakker, who could be called up after SummerSlam, could potentially be feuding with Randy Orton. That's a situation that would work out pretty well in my eyes, and a good way to help the new recruits come up. But also Randy Orton has spoken quite a lot about coming down to NXT, working with the younger talent, and wrestling to help them develop. There are a number of people that he does want to work with currently in NXT, who I feel could really benefit from that, before they get called up, of course, and moved out of the way. Now, while he would initially be coming in as a face, I see Randy Orton as a heel more long term for a number of different reasons. Firstly, there is the aforementioned Randy Orton versus Matt Riddle feud, but there's also a number of people very high up on the face side who could work very well with Randy Orton. Seth Rollins is a perfect example of this. They have feuded previously and could well feud in the future, and for me that would be very entertaining. But the most important one for me would of course be Cody Rhodes. Now, we've seen Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, we've seen Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, but Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes is not something we've seen for a very long time. And Cody Rhodes at the moment does not have any major plans going into WrestleMania. There are reports, of course, that Cody Rhodes would be facing Roman Reigns again, but that seems unlikely, particularly without a championship involved, as seems likely given that Jey Uso is challenging Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Long term, Randy Orton is expected to be back well before WrestleMania, so Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes could well be a WrestleMania match. It also opens a door, for example, to have Randy Orton win the World Heavyweight Championship from Seth Rollins, and then move on to Cody Rhodes, with Cody vanquishing Randy at WrestleMania. Gunther is currently in a good position to potentially get that push as well. So there are a number of different things being advertised by creative to Randy Orton to tempt him back. He is intending to return. He's been very open about the fact that he does plan to return, and Kurt Angle recently provided an update saying that Randy Orton will be returning moderately soon. I expect that he'll have at least a brief occasion with someone like The Miz with a talk show, or someone like Kevin Owens if he's on the other side of the aisle. But I strongly suspect that Randy Orton, Matt Riddle and RKBro will be returning relatively shortly after SummerSlam, and that Cody Rhodes is in the pathway, in the crosshairs, in the days to come. There'll be plenty more to talk about for Randy Orton in the days to come, but please do remember that the video in February was accurate until now, and accurately proven so. This is the most recent update, and a lot of different people and a lot of different wrestling journalists have confirmed many months afterwards what I previously reported in that video in February. So consider this a tie-in and an update rather than a replacement. I've been Tom Colohue. I'll be seeing you very shortly. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon.